What's the most unforgivable thing a school counselor ever did? When I was 14, my home life was falling apart. My dad had lost his job and started drinking heavily. At first, it was just yelling and throwing things, but it got worse. The night he grabbed my mom by the throat and shoved her against the wall, I knew I needed help. I went to Ms. Richards, our school counselor, during lunch break. My hands were shaking as I sat in her office. I told her everything. The drinking, the fights, the bruises on my mom's arms that she tried to hide with long sleeves. Ms. Richards nodded and took notes. She seemed concerned, promising me that everything I said was confidential. "I'm here to help you," she said. "You did the right thing coming to me." I felt relieved for the first time in months. Someone was finally going to help us. When I got home that afternoon, my dad was waiting at the door. His face was red with anger. "So I'm an abuser now," he shouted. Ms. Richards had called him directly after our meeting, repeating everything I'd told her. She hadn't called child services. She hadn't followed any protocol. She just picked up the phone and told my abuser exactly what I'd said, even mentioning that I was the one who reported him. That night was the worst yet. Dad went on a rampage, calling me a liar and a traitor. Mom tried to defend me and got pushed down the stairs. I locked myself in the bathroom and called 911. When the police came, Dad put on his charming act. He told them Ms. Richards had called about a misunderstanding and that I was just a troubled kid making up stories for attention. The officers looked skeptical but left after warning him to keep it down. The next day at school, I confronted Ms. Richards. I was terrified, angry, and betrayed. "You promised it was confidential. You put us in danger." She just smiled tightly. "I know your father. We attend the same church. He's a good man going through a rough patch. I felt it was better to handle this privately rather than getting authorities involved and breaking up a family." When I told her what happened after her call, she suggested I was exaggerating. Families argue, especially in stressful times. You need to be more understanding of what your father is going through. 2 weeks later, my mom ended up in the emergency room with a broken arm. The doctor didn't believe it was from falling against the kitchen counter. She called social services herself. We moved in with my grandmother while the investigation proceeded. I had to switch schools. Dad was eventually charged and my parents divorced. When my mom's lawyer sent a letter to the school board about what happened, Ms. Richards claimed I never mentioned physical abuse, just family tension. She kept her job.